FCS playoffs, where the talk has always been among us HBCU family. Should we give more credence or make a higher priority to go to FCS playoffs, qualify and go to FCS playoffs, or go to the Celebration Bowl, send our championship Celebration Bowl? I mean, if you look at the numbers, we all love numbers. We've touched on the past podcast through Mo Carter especially, that you have to pay your own way in a sense to participate in the FCS playoffs. Now, looking at the Celebration Bowl, I don't know how much money comes out of the HBCU's pockets, but I know they get huge payouts through ESPN. There you go. They don't have to pay
absolutely none.
Nathan, as they say it out. Nothing.
Yeah.
And, you know,
and the money that does come out of their pocket, which in most cases is travel and lodging, is recouped through the winnings that they get from the Celebration Bowl. So
there you go. Out of the way they come. So basically, you know, and again, looking at the success on ESPN, even though ESPN does cover the FCS playoffs as well, but the FCS showcase, I would argue, outside the championship game, is the Celebration Bowl. If you look at the ratings and the hype that's given to it, hell, I would argue that there's a much hype, if not more hype, given to the Celebration Bowl than there's the FCS championship. Which they have two. I'm sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
It's most definitely equal to, if not surpassing. The thing is, of course, with the Celebration Bowl being on ABC and the FCS playoffs, which normally happens that second week in January, happening on ESPN2 probably.
Yeah.
So you have difference in terms of exposures played in larger stadiums. So of course the numbers are already going to be skewed in most cases towards the Celebration Bowl as well. But like you said, man, it's funny that you say that, because during during the press conference on Friday, both coaches were asked about the playoffs and which one do they believe is better. And of course, both coaches in lockstep said something similar in terms of, you know, they don't have to come out of pocket for the Celebration Bowl. You get a purse with the Celebration Bowl. And then my favorite quote coming from Trey Oliver: "You guys know who's playing on Saturday. Can you tell me who's participating in the playoffs right now?"
Yeah, so basically, I'll give you a list of who's participating in the playoffs. I got this list right here. I got this list from NCAA.com. They got the brackets out, FCS playoff brackets. Delaware, University of Delaware, St. Francis in Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, who Central dusted this year. I mean, blew them out at New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Fordham University, Holy Cross, South Dakota State, North Dakota State, University of Montana, which is a powerhouse, Southeastern Missouri State, Southeastern Louisiana, Idaho, and Samford University. Those are your participants.
And all of them are usual suspects.
Correct.
Who are the two teams that made it to the championship this year? South Dakota State and North Dakota State, right?
Correct. Conference rivals, conference arch rivals. Yes.
Yeah. And they were both semifinalists last year.
Correct.
You know, with North Dakota State making it to the championship game. And then you named a bunch of other teams. You said Montana State, right?
University of Montana, yeah. University of Montana.
Oh, University of Montana. I believe Montana was in it last year. So was Holy Cross. So was Sacred Heart.
Yep.
Who else? Montana, like you said. Yeah. So there are tons of usual South Dakota. There are tons of usual suspects in this game. And it just doesn't seem as though that anyone other than teams from
and I got more. I missed some more. I'm sorry. Eastern Kentucky, Gardner-Webb, who beat A&T for the Big South title. Weber State, North Dakota, William & Mary, Montana State. So Montana State was in it. Emerson was. Furman, Elon University, which is future conference rival of A&T's. University of Illinois at Whitewater, I think it is.
Oh,
No,
UIW.
Incarnate Word.
No, both Incarnate Word and UIW were in it.
No, I'm sorry. It's Incarnate Word. It's Incarnate
Oh,
Word.
just
I'm sorry.
Incarnate Word? Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Sacramento State and Richmond and Davis. There's a couple.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
those are one.
these conferences will sound familiar because they're in it quite often. The MVFC, the SoCon, the Big Sky, the CAA, usual suspects.
Correct.
Year in and year out, especially in recent years, usual suspects. And a lot of times they're the ones hosting these games. And they have the budgets to do so. HBCUs don't, with the average right. Department budget being at around 10 million a year, and you're talking about asking to host a first round game at somewhere starting in, well, not starting, but close to 500,000 just to participate. Not talking about travel costs and all that as well. If you're not hosting, versus the million that you get from the Celebration Bowl, and then the additional money that the SWAC conference teams get for playing in the SWAC championship game. You know, it would be smart if the MEAC would do the same. Hint, hint.
Right.
But I know there are a lot of people who are opposed to that because there are only 6 teams. But I'm like, dude, forget about them 6 teams and let's make this money. But I digress. When you're a conference of programs who are looking to do whatever they can to generate as much revenue as possible, and you participate in a bowl game that just does that, you're winning. Why would you even think about spending money to participate in the playoffs with a hope to go ahead and qualify for to host a home game, or just end up spending money to travel to potentially lose with the hopes of winning a national championship, which has been far and few between with HBCUs. We all know that the last time an HBCU won a national championship was 1979, right?
Right.
And then, you know, the last time a team was necessarily, it's been a while since an HBCU has been competitive. And people keep saying you need to go ahead and compete against these quality teams to get better and finally, eventually be capable of competing within the playoffs. But how long is that going to take?
Yeah.
Right? And then you're going to have to generate money in order to help this process along as well. Why go through all of that and continue to not win championships when you can go ahead and make money and win a Black National Championship? Which one makes more sense to you?
Again, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So
no, I get it, and I know there are people out there who are complaining. Well, D Nash, you were complaining about the money that Deion Sanders took at Colorado. That's never been my complaint. So I want to make sure I get that right for you guys right now.
There you go. We both did not hate on Coach Prime for that move. We both did.
No, not at all. Not for the money aspect. Not at all.
Right.
But you're talking about programs that have been dealing with fiscal issues and still continue to deal with fiscal issues and just aren't financially on the same level as a lot of these teams that are participating on the FCS level. And you just want to go ahead and have a hope to win the national championship. We all know and understand that collegiate athletics is a business. And in businesses, you want to make money instead of losing money.
Correct.
And not only are you earning money or earning revenue from participating in the games and winning the Celebration Bowl, but your enrollment also increases too. So academically, your institution will get better too. So those are just benefits, most definitely, of participating in the Celebration Bowl that most definitely outweigh participating in the FCS playoffs. And I truly believe, with several conferences already having discussions about potentially having additional bowl games on the FCS level with the new NCAA,
I would love that. I would love that. I think most fans would love that too.
Yeah, and it would be interesting if that with this new NCAA president that they just brought in, If that ends up becoming a discussion on the FCS level, where they still have a playoff system, but have a bowl system so that these other institutions could attempt to generate revenue as well while participating in postseason play too, just like on the FBS level. Because that's in all honesty, those are the two reasons, in my opinion, why these teams and conferences are moving up to the FBS level. Is because they want that TV revenue and they want that bowl money. If there's a way that you can go ahead and try to compete with the bowl money on the FCS level, maybe that helps out with the TV money, and maybe that keeps those smaller programs from having to chase that FBS status.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. This what I'm about to mention. It will have to be on another podcast another time. But that made me remind me of the SWAC commissioner's comments about earning as much money to rival some FBS conferences.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's thinking, but if he's thinking along those lines of, hey, the reasons for the Appalachian States in the past, the James Madison's in the past, the Coastal Carolinas in the past, you know where I'm going with this. The reason why they moved up is to get some of that bowl money. It's a money move to get some bowl money, because even if they're not participating in the college football playoff on the FBS level, they're still going to get those bowl checks.